5 reasons why men don't write back. I hear from men, well, this is what women do. So for the purposes of our discussion, really, this pertains to both men and women. Thank you so much for joining us again on Second Act TV. Once again, I want to welcome back Sandy Weiner, the founder of Last First Date and the author of Choice Points in Dating, right there behind me. Sandy, thanks for being here again.
It's great to be back, Silka.
Well, today I want to talk with you about a topic, you wrote about it here, that is so baffling to so many people, especially for online dating, and that is why they don't write back. You titled the article, 5 Reasons Why Men Don't Write Back. And it's funny, as we talked about it, it's like, all these reasons here I get all the time. I hear from men, well, this is what women do. So for the purposes of our discussion, really, this pertains to both men and women.
I agree. And not only do I agree, but on my video about this, I got comments only from men who said, this happens to me too, and here's why.
Right.
So I love the engagement. I think it's true. I tend to address a female audience because most of my clients are women, but most of the things that I talk to any woman about also happens to men.
So let's get to your article here. Why men don't write back. 5 reasons why men don't write back. And number 1 here is he doesn't like your photos. You need to think about, did you put up photos that represent you accurately? Talk to me about that.
Yeah, not only accurately, but there's so many reasons why photos are not working for you. So they could be old. They could be group photos where you're playing Where's Waldo? I don't know who you are, so how can I find you? Don't post photos from 10 years ago, 20 pounds ago. Post what you look like today, because that's who they're going to meet. So own it, rock what you got. Post activity shots, doing what you love, something that gives someone something to write about. These are story photos. You want somebody to go, oh, I see that you're on a bike. I see that you're hiking. Oh, I see that you bike ride like me. Those are great. Or even when you're on a vacation, take photos of you on a vacation, not just the mountain behind you. And also not really far away. I've had clients post photos where the scenery is beautiful, but they look like they're 1/4 of an inch high and no one can see them. So you want to do your best with your photos. And so you may be overlooked and somebody may have dismissed you just based on the fact that your photos weren't successful.
Yeah. And it may not be because of what you look like. That's what's so interesting about this point. It's, yeah, some people are going to be attracted to you, some people aren't. That's just the nature of the game. But your photos communicate so much more than just what you look like. They, as you say, they tell a story. And they also open up engagement that would be easier to perhaps reply. So really think about that. What do your photos say about yourself? So I really like that point that we're hitting that again. We talk about that a lot, about the photos, and it has to sink in. If you're going to do online dating, that's one of the most important things that you need to communicate. He may be getting tons of messages a day, that a man is not writing you back because he's getting tons of messages, or vice versa, the woman is. But what does that really say? What's interesting about this is because, and we get this in our comments, a lot of men say, well, 90% of women always choose go after 10% of the men. I don't know where those stats come from, but are you choosing people who, of course you click on them, versus somebody that you've read something about and that you have something in common with?
Yeah, so first of all, you can be in the top tier if you improve your message game and you improve your photo game. Most people don't stand out because of these mistakes. And it's not because they were born with the best looks and they're in the best shape. It's really about how we convey ourselves. So I wanted to put that out there, that what I do in coaching is help people be in that top tier, because anybody can do it. And so that's first of all. But yes, some people only choose the most educated, the most tall, the
Mhm.
most good looking, the most standout.
Mhm.
And then they wonder why people don't write them back. So those people
Mhm.
are popular. They're getting lots of messages and they have lots of choice. And
Mhm.
so don't just write to them. You can. I mean, if you want to, why not shoot your shot?
Yep.
But you also want to write to people who are kind of those hidden
Mhm.
gems, who may
Mhm.
not have the best photos, but they have an incredibly written essay or anything that's going to stand out for you. And I'm not saying to settle, I'm saying to look beyond the bells and whistles and the shiny people and
Right.
find people that you really connect with.
Yeah. Well, and that's something that's so easy to do when we're online because we are on some level anonymous. We can click on anybody or write, send a message or, why not? You don't really know this person. So why not go after, shoot your shot, like you said, but then don't expect or don't be surprised if you're not getting a lot of messages in return. And I think again, I'll ask our guys, who are you sending messages to if nobody's returning your message?
So the other thing about that, what you just reminded me of something
Mm-hmm.
is a lot of people also have really narrow preferences. So they only
Mm-hmm.
date people within 5 miles and
Yeah.
they have to be a certain height and a certain weight and a certain education level. Like you're
Mm-hmm.
really narrowing your
Mm-hmm.
requirements so much that you're not even going to see the people who are
Mm-hmm.
possible
Right.
love interests for you. And some of my best matches were with people who wouldn't have found me, but I found them
Mm-hmm.
because they were
Mm-hmm.
younger and they were further away. They wouldn't have found me, but once I messaged them with an engaging message, they messaged back and said, "Hey, let's give this a shot." And we ended up in a relationship. So
No,
shoot your shot.
shoot your shot. Absolutely. Absolutely. Here's another good one, especially if you're new to this. He's not a paid member of a site and you are. Again, why aren't people messaging you back? If they're not a paid member of certain sites, you can see them, you can write to them, they'll get the message. But unless they pay, they can't get back with you. And you can't fault the sites for that. I mean, they have to make money too. But if you don't know that, then that could certainly be misinterpreted.
Yeah, you feel disheartened. Nobody's messaging me back. So when I work with somebody who's on Match.com, for example, which is one of the paid sites that I like, there's a subscriber badge. You actually can
Oh.
see, is this person a subscriber? Have they had their phone verified? There are certain things that you can do to show you've taken that extra step.
Mm.
And don't write to people who don't have that. You're going to save yourself from so much frustration and feeling like it's personal that they not writing me back. Just look for that
Hmm.
and you'll have much more success.
I wasn't aware of that. When I was at Match, they didn't have that. So that's
Mm.
interesting. So you can't, well, I mean, that's good. They probably learned that because people are so disheartened that, yeah, at least you have a reason why they may not be, I mean, I guess they can subscribe if they really like your message, but
They
but this
can.
is, yeah, but this is it's a good thing to know. It's a good thing to know that you're not necessarily being rejected because it's disheartening enough online many times. So, we
Yeah.
totally get that. Number 4 here. Why aren't they writing you back? Well, your messages aren't engaging enough. We hit on that on several other segments because it's so important that if you're not writing something interesting or fun or open-ended, that may be the very reason you're not getting anything back.
I mean, if your inbox is full of messages that say nothing, you're going to write back to the one person who actually said something
Yes.
that caught your eye, that showed that they paid
Mm-hmm.
attention. I mean,
Yes.
it's the sexiest thing when somebody noticed something about you other
Mm-hmm.
than your looks and said something, especially if you have written a good bio, then they have something to go on. And I think it's just it takes an extra second to do something that's engaging
Mm-hmm.
and show a person that why you like them, not
Yeah.
just, we have so much in common. Write me back if you agree. Okay. I don't know if I agree because I don't know what you found in
What
common.
you do?
There's so much of my
Yeah.
profile you could have talked about. So
Right.
yeah, just spend that time and people, I think what happens to a lot of people who get really frustrated with the messaging is they
Mm-hmm.
come up with this like one message that they send to everybody. And they
Yes.
think,
Oh.
well, this is going to increase my chance of hearing back, but it
Mm-mm.
actually doesn't. because it looks like a cut and paste. It looks like you put no effort. It is totally not personal. And don't do that.
And it's so obvious. I mean, when I was online, that it's so obvious that this was a standard, like just a form letter. And when, to your point again, when somebody does take the time to, hey, I read this and that's interesting. I mean, right away, whether you might not even be attracted to them, but you got their attention, or vice versa, that you will get that attention. And I would write back a lot of times, just, hey, I appreciate it, and maybe we're not a man or whatever, but I appreciated the time that they took, that they actually read it and didn't just, hey, which just drives me, I mean, it just drives me nuts. So
Yes. Hey, beautiful.
oh, yeah, I know we're laughing here, but and all age groups do this. You would think that somebody younger does that. No, these were all the old guys sending that to me. Just don't, well, and I'll ask our guys, because I didn't know, do women do that? Do women do that? Do they just have one word? What are some of the things that really bother you that women do that we need to know? Because that would be helpful. Your bio is not unique enough. That's your fifth point, your last point. That's the reason people don't message you back, because you send something and then they read about you, and it's like, what do you mean by like unique enough? What's a good bio?
I'll tell you what's a bad bio. A bad bio is boring. It's a lot of cliches. It's filled with everything that everybody else writes about. So you don't stand out. You're just writing that you're just as comfortable in a little black dress as you are in a pair of jeans, and that
Yeah.
you like sushi and walks in the
Walks
park
on the
and walks on the beach,
sunset.
right? I mean, you and
Mhm.
everybody else. And so
Right.
what about you is unique?
Mhm.
And I remember when I first got into this business, one of the reasons I did was because I had a good friend who had written about herself in the most bland, boring way. She had posted photos that were in the dark, really far away, and she was trying not to stand out too much. She really didn't want to be so in your face. And as a result, she got a lot of horrible men who were messaging her because she didn't stand out. She has so many beautiful character traits that she
Mhm.
was not writing about. And so hers was the first one that I wrote. And it's really important to capture your interests, your hobbies, what quirky things you love, not
Mhm.
just everything that everybody else does.
Mhm.
And when you do that, you're going to stand out. Somebody's going to go, wow, I really love that you crochet, or I took up this hobby also, and it was really hard, or I've always wanted to read that book,
Yeah.
or wow, you wrote a book? That's so cool.
Mhm.
What did you love most
Right.
about writing?
Right.
There's
Well, you're
something to
making it
talk about.
easy. Yeah, you're making it easy for somebody to engage that way as well. That could be very well why they're not getting back with you. I want to follow up on something you just said. I wonder if this applies to others. You said that she, if I understood you correctly, that she purposely didn't want to, she didn't want to be in your face. She purposely did that.
Mhm,
And I don't mean to point fingers or laugh, or that to me
mhm.
is so interesting, because I wonder if other people do that. Well, I don't want to be out there and just, like, oh, here I am. And I can see people thinking that and not
Yeah,
realizing that you're advertising. I
right.
wonder if somebody else thinks that.
I think it's pretty common that we were taught humility. You don't talk
Mm-hmm.
about yourself. And
Mm-hmm.
when you go for a job interview, are you going to
Right.
show up and go, I'm kind of like everyone else. I'm sort of average, and
Yeah.
don't look at me. No, you're not going to do that. You're going to try to make the
Right.
most incredible resume and talk about your talents and your
Mm-hmm.
skills. And if you can do it there, then do it in dating. But we really shy away from talking about our accomplishments or who we are as a person. It's not to brag, it's
Mm-hmm.
really because it is an advertisement, and you wouldn't buy a product if it had poor copy. buy this phone. It's just like every other phone. I mean, not the copy that will get you
No,
to buy that phone.
no.
What you're looking for in a phone is what's unique. Like
Mhm.
Apple just came up with new iPads apparently, and
What a
they talk
surprise.
about the right. So, it's not that different from the old
Yeah,
iPad, but they're going to talk about what makes this iPad different in order
right.
to get you to buy it. It has a better screen, it has more memory. You want to do the same for yourself. And so you're not saying I'm the most important person in the world. You're saying this is
This is
me.
who I
This is
am.
why my
Yeah.
friends like me. This
Uh-huh.
is what I'm known for.
Yeah.
This is the personality I have. One of my clients doesn't love to cook, but she makes these bowls that like green bowls, rice bowls, all these grain bowls, and that she's a very healthy person. So we wrote about that. We wrote
Mhm.
about her hiking and
Mhm.
how she takes not just hikes, but she competes and does these long hikes. And that's what makes you appealing to the right person who also likes to eat healthy and go for long hikes or is very active.
Yeah.
So you want to do those things that make you stand out, that make people curious about who you are.
Mhm. Yeah.
And that's how you can find your match.
Yeah. So the bottom line, why aren't people writing you back, messaging you back? Well, because you're not giving them something to message about. Yes, your photo, yeah, it is a very visual medium, online dating, absolutely, but there's so much more to it than that. So I don't know. These are great points, lots to think about. Again, Sandy, is there anything else you want to add on this before we end the segment?
Yeah, don't give up on online dating. I think so many people give it a bad rap and
Mhm.
they're afraid, oh, I've been scammed and this has happened and that has happened. Come with knowledge. This is what we do on this channel. It's what I do in my practice, is to give people the tools so that you can succeed at every aspect of dating. Don't shut out like this amazing tool. It
Right.
really is
It is a
just a
tool.
tool. It's a
That's all it
tool to
is.
help
Mhm.
you meet people or
Mhm.
connect with people that you can go on dates with that you would never meet in real life. And
Mhm.
if you know how to navigate it, just like social media, a lot of people, oh, TikTok is horrible. They just have cat videos. No, they don't. And you actually can learn how to curate TikTok to make
Mhm.
it work for you. So
Mhm.
make online dating work for you and increase your success by following these tips, because people find love online all the time.
They do.
I help people with online dating essays and bios, and help you with the
Mhm.
whole thing.
Yeah.
To be your own matchmaker really is the whole key, is that you know how to pick people, you know how to sell yourself online so that people will find you,
Yeah.
and just take charge of your love life.
I love that. Great advice. Sandy, thank you. As always, I will link to all of your information to your website. Anybody that would like to get in touch with Sandy directly, you coach lots of our people, I think, already.
I
And of
do.
course, your book right over here, Choice Points in Dating, covers so much of what we talk about here and offers you a template to a lot of the things that, that you need to know when you're dating. So Sandy, thank you. Always love talking with you, and I look forward to our next conversation on Second Act TV.